Oh, there, RC. This is turn 12, January 1942. So the Germans finally did it in 42. They couldn't do it in 39, 40, 41. They had to wait till 42 to successfully take over France. Same as normal. I got my orange chips there showing you where the battles were. This whole stack of stuff came from here and landed there. Then these two stacks blitzed into here and took out some guys. I did have this one tank and fighter, the remainder of, I had an attack in here, but I lost everything except for one tank. I did keep the fighter and the tactical, and I did lose a fighter to the French fighter when they scrambled, so I had to buy it. I bought another fighter in Berlin. Let's see, these two are non-combat moves, rail and not rail. These are non-combat moves into here. Built an infantry in Warsaw, built 5 here, built 5 there, and built, I think, 1 infantry or 2 infantry and an airborne, along with a fighter in there. And these are non-combats from Belgium 1-2. Alright, that's Germany in a nutshell. Vichy happened. Vichy was surprisingly successful. Usually it's not. The Germans managed to get a battleship and a transport out of that. And the Vichy managed to capture a battleship, a light cruiser, a sub, and a transport. Now, what else is going on here? Spain, standard Spain. I took one. This guy was in a spot where he couldn't take that one by himself likely, so they already had these two, and the Russians lend-leased this guy over there. Failed the recruitment roll, so this guy just moved into the city, so he's got a better advantage to be able to attack the other units. We'll see what happens there. Convoys. This one got taken out by anti-submarine warfare. Did take a buck off the British, and this one failed completely, and nobody killed it, so that's a good time had there. France had no money at the end of the turn, so they had nothing to build because the Germans took that money. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Germans got a whole $4 in wartime economy, and they took $17 from the French. So there you go. Germans also in place unit phase took Bulgaria or Romania. That way they could get the extra $3 bonus from this place. They are hurting for money in units, and that was the biggest stack of both. So they've taken that. It didn't affect Russia because Russia's always already at full income. So we'll see how that goes. Russia's turning into a monster. And Russia didn't attack this turn. It only had the 3 units here last turn, so it moved in these 4. That it might have the numbers, but with the American and British lend-lease in a city, it may not have enough. So we might have to wait for some more units to catch up. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. So the transport and fleet that was down here moved 1, 2, 3. I scooped up the fleet that was left here and dropped off 2 guys in here. I seem to have lost a dude. Should have been a dude on top of that ship. You know what? Let's just make this easier. The dude that should have been on there, because I had 2 here and I brought 2 more up. So there you go. I had also built a colonial and upgraded the militia there as well. So it was a bit busy. And I built 2 guys down here again to replace the ones I just took out of there. We'll see what happens there. Japan successfully defeated the CCP, so there is no Chinese in China, at least no Chinese military. They had 3 militia and 2 infantry, and I did end up having this light tank. retreat because it rolled a 12 going through a desert border. That was not fun. I had brought a couple of aircraft in there, which have flown back down to Kwangtung here. What else did Japan do? Japan successfully finished taking over the Dutch islands. They upgraded the naval base to one that gives you a movement bonus. Moved almost all their fleet in here. I got that on a card up there because I'm starting to spread out from the home there, and I needed to actually differentiate what was where. Alrighty, so and they've got 2 fighters at the air base here in Sumatra to scramble to the fleet if needed. Let's see what happened over here. We've still got this. We've been moving some transports back home. It took me a bit of work to get all the units that were laying around here into Siam. The nice thing about Siam is they can get delivered or picked up from both sides of this peninsula, so that is handy. And from here with this naval base we can reach all the way up to Japan with our movement bonus. Transports and battleships can't, but everything else can. And the same thing, everything else can reach this here. And because I have, so we'll see. We could also do that too. I just realized that after I moved these guys in there, but I wasn't really paying attention to that direction. I was more worried about that stuff up there. They're starting to build quite a fleet up there. All right, FEC, they built a fighter, they put a colonial in here, and I can't remember what else they did. Maybe they built, I can't remember if they built this anti-aircraft. No, that was last turn. No, they built a militia in there, that's what they did. So fighter, militia, colonial. That's what they could afford to do. Australia built 2 subs. And we'll see what happens next. There was quite a bit of movement going on in here with most of these transports had moved everything from in the Dutch islands into Siam. There was this one transport moved a couple of dudes down to Siam from Japan, and these remaining transports up here and destroyers went up there empty to go pick up more. The British did move their coastal sub in here, so we'll see what happens. That's a great place to convoy 2 Japanese lines, but we're not at war with the British yet, so we'll see what happens. Just trying to think what else happened. Yes, the Americans decided that Japan was starting to become problematic, and they placed 6 militia on all of their islands, especially since the Japanese have these ones. They wanted to make it so that the Japanese couldn't just drop off any unit there and have a guaranteed takeover. They might need those places to land an aircraft in the future, especially if they got to do a sortie on the Japanese fleet moving around in the Pacific. All right, builds for the Americans are 2 fast battleships were completed. This heavy cruiser was completed, another transport, and 2 elite Marines. The Americans failed in their income roll and managed to get a whopping 2 out of 12. So that was kind of disappointing. Now, I did a few tech rolls and I cannot remember exactly what all happened. I know Germany, Italy, and Japan are all stacked together here. This is Italy and Germany at wartime income. Everybody, the other alliances are starting to creep forward on that one. The Americans moved ahead in this one, and I can't remember if it was rockets or bombers. And one of those 2, they got it. Moved forward. Russia kind of really bid it and got a couple of the ones they need for a victory point, but that's about it. The British, they did finish radar. So convoying their lines is going to be really difficult with both of these. together at the same time. My subs are almost rolling at a negative now. I might have to work up the advanced submarines if there's enough time left in the game. Alright, and Italy rolled nothing. France could not roll. So that's where we sit. Alright, incomes. We've got Vichy's for 3. Free French. I'm just using a regular French roundel. Are at 4. Australia, FEC, and Britain are unchanged. Italy's unchanged. Germany went up a few with the takeover. I think they went up 4 with the takeover of Paris. But they also collect the Vichy money, so they're actually at 44. The Japanese went up 2 because they, when everything in the Pacific went Vichy, goes to Japan, so they got Cochinchina and Anatonkin, I think. Yeah, Anatonkin. So that was $2 increase for them. They did eliminate all the Chinese, so that they won't start popping up and becoming problematic in their back. And then the Americans are, like I said, they were at 42 last time. They're now at 44. And the Russians are unchanged at 56. They did not have an opportunity to take anything over this turn. It's a little far away. Well, let's just turn that down a little bit more so you can actually see what you need to see. The Japanese fleet on the card is sitting there. It's a carrier, light carrier, 2 battleships, 3, 4 different cruisers, 5 different cruisers, a destroyer, torpedo boat destroyer, and a bunch of subs. And that's all sitting right here at this Navy base here. I'm gearing up for something. I don't know if it's going to be this, the fleet over there, or Australia. I've run out of targets as Japan. The Dutch islands are completely taken over. I could start fighting with the Russians, but I don't think Russia's quite ready to do that. And if they're not ready to do that, I'd rather wait a turn to give Germany a chance to build some more units. Alright, and I think that's about it for the turn. So there you go. So yeah, that was turn 12. So the next turn will be July 42. And the last turn was 12. Alright, thank you. Hopefully you enjoy this, and have a good one.